Hey, fight fans, how you guys doing? Couple of things that I was thinking about this morning as a fight fan and as a historian of the sport, at least someone who's been watching the sport since like, the 80s. Thinking about this back and forth between Roy Jones and Floyd Mayweather. Well, really, it's not really a back and forth because Floyd isn't really saying anything. It's more like Roy is saying a whole bunch of stuff. And well, I don't know. I don't know. He's got a right to his opinion. I guess Roy believes that Floyd maybe got too much credit for some of the accomplishments that he's credited with. I don't know where that think is coming from. I think Floyd gets ragged a lot, um, and people keep saying things that just don't make sense. Oh, he fought world champions who were past their prime. I mean, who didn't? Who really didn't? Roy did his fair shake of that. I remember a whole bunch of the guys that Roy was fighting in the mid 90s through the early 2000s. Those guys were not real. I mean, world beaters. At some point, he fought a policeman. Then he fought the guy from Jamaica, who he made look real silly. I mean, Julio Gonzalez. Roy did not exactly fight the people. He was supposed to go over to Europe one time and fight Darius Machekeski. I've forgotten what his last name is. Um, and so I'm just coming back to this. I know I might have posted this in another video, but I'm coming back to this because I just don't see it. And I respect Roy as a champion. Roy's probably the most freakishly gifted athlete that I've seen in the last 30 odd years. I mean, the dude was just something else. But they are both great in their own right. I think Roy should kind of calm down a little bit. Let Floyd do his thing. Floyd is Floyd. He's not going to change. I do like the fact that Floyd is not coming back at him hard. I mean, Floyd's funny though. Floyd, where he's sitting in front of the big screen TV and watching all Roy's knockouts. That that was fun. To me, that was funny. Okay. But yeah, but that's so that's my take on that. I think Roy should kind of calm down, let it go, man, let it go. That's an old story. Then you're saying Floyd should come meet you. Maybe you want to fight him. I mean, come on, man. Come on, Roy. You're way bigger than that. All right? All right. So that's that. Boots Ennis beats Limas. One round knockout. Boots is making a statement. Boots is making a statement. Yeah, he is. He is, especially moving up to 154. I mean, he could easily now angle for a fight with Crawford, in my opinion. If there's a title at stake, which apparently there is, why not? Why not? I think he made a statement. I did not expect that. I expected it to be a much longer fight than that. But credit to Boots for getting his man out of there in real quick time. All right. I remember there's a popular saying. I remember Lennox Lewis used to say this a lot. He used to say, "I don't get paid for doing overtime in the ring." So if you can get him out there as quickly as you can, dude, that's the way to do it. All right. Next thing I was going to talk about is Shakur Stevenson with a possible fight next year against Teofimo Lopez. A lot of people I'm hearing grapevine is saying, "Oh, Shakur is going to beat the brakes off of him." I kind of agree with Tim Bradley, and I don't always do. Do not sleep on Tio. Tio gets up for the big fights. The only fight that he let me down was that first fight with Kambosis. And I thought that was a one-off. But Tio can fight. Not only can Tio fight, Tio got skills. Tio has fought, in my opinion, at a relatively higher level than Shakur. Um, and so I do not think the Shakur is necessarily going to beat Tio. And I think it's a 50-50 fight. That's just my opinion. 50-50 fight. They're both great fighters. They got good speed, good boxing skills, good boxing IQ. Both of them. Both of them, not just Shakur. So that is definitely a 50-50 fight. Don't let anybody tell you that Shakur is going to run away with a victory on that one. That's to me, that's not happening. He can win for sure. He's got the skills, and so can Teal. So that's a 50-50 fight. All right, so that's my opinion on that one. Thirdly, Fundora and Keith Thurman gets canceled because Fundora gets has a hand injury apparently. I was looking forward to that fight. Take my hat off, getting a little hot in here. Reason why I was looking forward to that fight was, you know, Fundora is a force to be reckoned with. He's tall, he's rangy, he's got incredible stamina. I mean, this dude can throw punches for 12, 15 rounds. He looked like one of those, old time, excuse me, guys, old time 15-round fighters who can just keep going and going and going, like the Energizer Bunny. Um, and he's fairly decently skilled. He's not gonna blow you away with exceptional skills, but he's got enough skills to match with his physical attributes that he can make it a difficult night for anyone. So kind of reminds me, remember Paul Williams, tall, lanky dude? I think he was a welterweight back in the what was it, early 2000s or so. And he was a nightmare for a lot of people until he got knocked out by the Spanish guy. And unfortunately, Paul had a motorbike accident and he's paralyzed now. I wish we could have some more updates. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna do some research and check out how that dude is doing. Because he was a hell of a fighter, tall, lanky, could just go and go and go. I remember them trying to put Mayweather against him at one time, and I was one of those who felt that would have been a bad fight for Mayweather, just because of the style difference. But anyway, yeah, so Fundora kind of reminds me of Paul Williams in a sense because of his physical attributes. He's tall, he's lanky, he's got a big battery, meaning that he can go on forever. Um, will that present problems for Keith Thurman? Yes, it will. Yes, it will. But Keith is a good fighter. Not only is Keith a good fighter, Keith is Keith's been a champion before. All right, and a good champion. And Keith he fought pretty much everybody back then. So that tells me something. And not only that, Keith is well preserved. He's not been through the ringer. His body's is his body well preserved? He keeps getting these injuries. He's so injury prone. That's the problem. But if Keith comes out on a good night with no injuries, he can do some damage. So I'm not saying that he necessarily beats Fundora. What I'm saying is that Keith has got what it takes to one, make it a bad night for Fundora. He's got enough pop in his punches. Well, Keith he doesn't punch as hard as he used to punch, But that's because he boxes a lot more. Back then Keith would come out. That's the whole one time thing came out. Get you out there one time, big puncher, and can still pop. He can still crack. But I could see Keith outboxing Fundora. This is just me. But I can see Keith Thurman, in and out, using his legs. He knows how to use his legs. He knows how to give angles. He can punch in combinations. You can see in his last fight, he can punch in combinations long enough to get your respect. All right. And so when that match eventually takes place, hopefully they reschedule it pretty soon. I'm sure that's what they're going to do. They're going to reschedule it probably maybe sometime in January, February or so. Okay. So we're definitely going to get that fight. And when it does happen, it's going to be an interesting fight. And do not be surprised if Keith Thurman um, outboxes Fundura. If Fundura wins, he's going to win it on volume. Can he stop Keith? Keith's got a pretty good chin. The only knock on Keith is when you go hard to his body, but he's never been stopped with a body shot. So I'm not even listening to that. All right. But Fundura could out hustle, out punch, meaning volume wise, Keith Thurman and win a lopsided decision. That's a possibility, especially if Keith turns old overnight. But there is a possibility that Keith will outbox. I think Keith's the better boxer in that matchup. Just my opinion. I think he's a better boxer. I think he's got the better pedigree. Um, I think he's got enough pop where he can stop Fundora, to be honest with you. So those are two possibilities. So that's kind of like my take on that situation. Well, those are the three kind of things that I wanted to cover. The whole Mayweather Roy thing. I think that's played out. Roy give it a rest. So I'm talking more Roy's side to kind of like let it go. Fundura, Keith Thurman. That's another fight that I'm looking forward to. I know it's been canceled, but the whole card's going to be rescheduled, and that's a pretty decent card as well. Okay, and then Shakur, the possible big money fight with Shakur Stevenson fighting Teofimo Lopez. Great fight. Um, a lot of people are saying Shakur beats him easy. No, no, that's not happening. No, no. Shakur can win, but he's not walking over Teo. No way. And nor is Teo walking over Shakur. Um, but if I had to put my money on that fight, to be honest with you, I'm probably going with Teo. I'm probably going with Teofimo Lopez. I think he's shown me enough to show that he can win that fight. Now, the problem, however, yeah, thinking about it, consistency, right? Tio can come in sometimes and look fantastic, and then sometimes he can just look terrible. And, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is one of those nights where Tio's going to want to come and show that he's great. So this is just me. I respect Shakur's skills. I think he's a great fighter. But in this one, maybe my heart tells me that Tio can take it, or it might end up being a draw. Who knows? All right, fight fans. That's all I got for today, and have something else probably sometime next week as we try and grow the channel. Please subscribe. We're getting better. We're getting better. We're getting better. I'm in the DMV area, so I'm looking forward to going to any of these fights that might come up in the DMV area in the next couple of months or the next year or so. All right, but it's a growing channel, so do me a favor, subscribe and let's keep it rocking.